Hey, hello, and welcome to the show. My name is Chase from Hammerano Culture Unlimited, rocking the 2008 Bayern Munich home jersey, and in today's video we'll be looking at about 10 to 15 footballers the streets will never forget. So, a bit of background before heading into this video. I was recently featured on the Football and Friends video podcast. However, my appearance was very limited due to load shedding. Now, for any non-South Africans who watch this channel, firstly, thanks for watching, but for those who aren't familiar with what load shedding is, let me explain. Basically, South Africa has been facing an electricity crisis for over 13 years now. The monopoly supplier of electricity in South Africa, Eskom, they've implemented something called load shedding. It's basically managed power outages or blackouts to help preserve and maintain the electricity supply in South Africa. Well, I say I made an appearance, I was more like the first reserve. A regular of the show couldn't make it, so I was pulled in the last minute and I was there to serve my fellow football friends. Now, this is pretty much how my short-lived appearance on the Football and Friends podcast went.
Chase, I'm going to come to you because, of course, you've got that West Ham nostalgia with him. How do you feel about him coming in at number 7?
I think Chase has load shedding.
I think the load shedding is caught.
It's good.
He's on a brilliant smile.
So the theme of this video, the Football and Friends video, which I made an appearance on, the theme was footballers the streets will never forget. Now, upon being briefed, I was simply just told the theme is streets. Now, the funny thing is, this abbreviation got pretty much lost on me. And given the 10-minute timeline I had to put something together, I pretty much rushed something off without completely understanding the assignment at hand. So what I'm saying is, yes, I supplied the Football and Friends group with a list of footballers I think the streets will never forget. This list, however, is more accurate, less time limit, and this list is not interrupted by load shedding. Dear viewer, I now understand the assignment at hand, and this is now my revised 10 to 15 footballers the streets will never forget. Now, it's important to remember this list isn't really in any order, it's just a bunch of footballers that made an impact on my life, and a bunch of footballers I really enjoyed watching. Stephen Ireland, Manchester City. Stephen Ireland was one of those players at Man City when City originally acquired their billions and billions and billions. He was also at Man City at the same time as Robinho. But let me tell you something, friends, I'd rather have Stephen Ireland at my club than Robinho. Any day, give me Ireland, not Robinho. Stephen Ireland was an incredible passer on the ball, and he was one of the first names I always purchased when playing Fantasy Football League. Tim Cahill, Everton. Another outstanding midfielder. He wasn't the tallest player on the pitch, but gosh, Cahill managed to score loads of goals with his head. Now, as we all know, Australians are better known for their rugby and their cricket skills. But let me tell you something. That Everton side under Moyes, I was very fascinated by that side. Yes, I'm a Hammer, but I always enjoyed watching Everton under Moyes. And Tim Cahill was instrumental in the success Everton had during that period. Also, Cahill and Arteta in the midfield for Everton. That was a partnership of dreams. Marouane Fellaini, Everton. We're staying in the blue half of Merseyside now as we look at Marouane Fellaini at Everton. Now, bless shame, where do you start? Just as David Moyes, Marouane Fellaini succeeded beyond all expectation at Everton. And just like David Moyes, this success at Goodison Park earned Fellaini a call-up to Manchester United. As we all know, Fellaini and Moyes didn't have the greatest time at Man United, so now we'll be focusing on Fellaini at Everton. A true utility player, Marouane Fellaini could play in the midfield and was also very helpful going forward. Now, one of the things I recall, or should I say a highlight, of Fellaini's time at Everton was their corner routine. I remember like it was yesterday. Everton would take a corner. Tim Cahill would be on the near post. He'd header the ball over to Fellaini, and Fellaini would either kick it or header it in the goals. This worked so many times. Everton scored so many goals through this routine. I don't know how the other clubs didn't stop them or how they failed to stop them. I mean, everyone knew it's going to happen, but they pulled it off so often. You'll see Benayoun. Now, Benayoun played for quite a few Premier League clubs, West Ham, Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea. He actually had 2 spells at West Ham, but in particular I'm going to talk about his spell at Liverpool and West Ham. For me, Yossi was the ultimate impact sub, the kind of player you want to bring onto the pitch on around the 70-minute mark when the opponents are completely knackered. Depending who you ask, they'd say the ultimate impact sub of all time was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but in my opinion, and as his lists are all subjective, in my opinion, I think Yossi Benayoun perfected the role of impact substitution. As we look at the next entry, I kind of broke the rules a bit, but you know what, it's my list, I can make the rules, I do what I want. So here we got Clint Dempsey, Bobby Zamora and Danny Murphy at Fulham. Fulham have always been and pretty much will always be Fulham. But let me tell you something, that period between 2008 and about 2012, they were pretty darn impressive. They were actually so impressive, they reached the final of the Europa League, but they just missed out on lifting the trophy as they lost against Atletico Madrid. Just let that sink in, Fulham were in the final of the Europa League. Now, Dempsey, Zamora and Murphy weren't at the peak of their careers by the time they went to Fulham, but gosh did they revitalize their careers and did they have a new lease of life by the time they went to Fulham. For the next entry, we're going to continue breaking the rules as it's a double entry. I called this one the Scandi Saviours, as it's Sebastian Larsson at his spell at Birmingham and Morten Gums Pedersen as we look at his time at Blackburn Rovers. So Morten Gums Pedersen, the shame, the bloke receives a lot of criticism, and often people say, oh, he's dining out on a free kick he scored in 2008. Well, here's the thing. If you can score a goal from a free kick, a potential match-winning goal, for a club like Blackburn Rovers, and no disrespect to Blackburn, more power to you. By doing that, you are well on your way on becoming a true cult hero. And you can say the same thing about Seb Larsson regarding his time at Birmingham. There's something about Seb Larsson, I don't know what it was, but the guy just glowed. Is that the correct past tense for glow? Glued. No, that's glue. He shone. Larsson's complexion looked as if he was made from glitter. And funny enough, this was around the same time that the Twilight movies, also with people who glue. This was at the same time where Twilight was all the rage. So you're probably watching this video expecting to see a list of West Ham players. Well, for my own credibility, I pretty much forced myself to include a bunch of players who aren't really West Ham related. And not to give the rest of the list away, but spoiler alert, quite a few West Ham players make up the remainder of this list. Carlos Tevez, West Ham United. Hammers fans know exactly how important Carlos Tevez was to West Ham United. That goal at Old Trafford in 2007, securing Premier League safety for the Hammers. Yes, Sheffield United took West Ham to court over this, but let me tell you something, they can take us to court, but they can never take away our Tevez memories. Paolo Di Canio, West Ham United. Has there ever been a more enduring character at West Ham United? Well, maybe, but his silky smooth, out-of-this-world skill, paired with the ability to completely lose his mind as the red mist will seep over, makes Paolo Di Canio a true West Ham legend. Paolo Di Canio was an icon, and I could probably dedicate an entire video to Paolo Di Canio West Ham moments. Julian Dix, West Ham United. Wow. I'd honestly be shaking in my boots and dreading it if I knew I was playing against West Ham and Julian Dix was lining up against me. I mean, the dude was nicknamed the Terminator. He had a rocket of a left boot, and if anyone was able to break the goal net from a penalty kick, it was 100% going to be Julian Dix. Scotty Parker, West Ham United. A quick fun fact about Scotty Parker is, yes, we share a birthday, but another fun fact, other than 6 appearances for Norwich in the year 2000, Scotty Parker only played for one non-London club, and that was Newcastle. His London clubs include Charlton, West Ham, Chelsea, Spurs and Fulham. Super Scotty Parker was the West Ham captain and three-time Hammer of the Year. Yes, Scotty Parker was part of the West Ham side that went down, which got relegated. But here's the thing, every West Ham fan during that relegation season, we all believed, we all kind of knew, we all kind of hoped that Scotty Parker would turn it around by himself and deliver the club from relegation. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be, but looking back at Scotty's time at West Ham, he was a true leader, a gentleman, amazing hair, and gosh, I still love him. Dimitri Payet, West Ham United. Where do you start with Payet? This guy could do nothing wrong. Now, this could be quite controversial, but I truly believe at one stage, especially during the 2015-16 season, Dimitri Payet was right up there as the greatest footballer in the world. He was right up there in the conversation, along with Messi and Ronaldo. In hindsight, we all know Payet's tenure at West Ham didn't last forever. It was just about probably 18 months of glory before he buggered off. But that season, that 15-16 season, that last season at Upton Park, wow, watching him was out of this world. I'll never forget it. Thank you, Dimitri, for the memories. Don't say I didn't warn you, I told you. This list would be rather West Ham heavy. And last, Adrian at West Ham United. The one memory that the streets will never forget, that I'll remember for the rest of my life when it comes to Adrian, is that FA Cup tie in 2015 against Everton. The match ended in a draw and it went to a penalty shootout. Adrian stepped up to take the penalty, and he was so confident that he would score that as he was running up, he shook off his hands and shook off those goalkeeper gloves. He knew the game was going to be over after this kick. And as he was running up, he shook those gloves off and he put the ball in the back of the net. West Ham went through to the next round. What a arrogant, glorious bugger. Flip, I love it. Boys and girls, that's my list on players the streets will never forget. Yes, this list is very subjective, and that's what football is all about. One could easily pull up the stats from the internet, but there's no fun in that. Which footballers made your list? Which moments in football will you never forget? I'd love to hear and chat about it in the comments below. Friends, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It really does help the channel out. And if you haven't yet, why not subscribe to Hammerano Culture Unlimited. My name is Chase, and until next time, come on, you Irons.